So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the updates that are planned for this upcoming release. And one of them is the ability to sync things across Unity scenes and have it be persistent. So what do I mean by that? So let's have a look when I bring this in and I click play. So here I am in a scene. And when I collect an item here, I'll open this treasure chest. And I don't have auto equipped enabled for that item, but let's go to one that I do have auto equipped enabled, and that will automatically select it here. Now when I go to the next scene, you'll see it remains it's selected. So here it is, and it's in my hands. And I also have this I also have this other item. So let's go ahead and go to the other scene. So here we are. We have a persistent inventory, and things remain as they are. I still have the same items, and it persists between scenes, and this is network compatible. So now let's look at something else interesting. You'll see I opened these treasure chests, but I came back to the scene, and it remains now open. It's because these are now syncing across scenes. And so if I come up here and I break this, say I broke all 3 vases. Now let's leave the scene. And now when I come back, you'll see those treasure chests remain open and those vases are broken. So here we are. It's all broken exactly how I left it. And now I also made it so you can sync items across scenes. So if I drop that, kind of the same situation. If I leave, come back, there it is. It's remained as is. If I look at my inventory, I don't have that. Come here, pick it up. You'll see it's that shield. And this is all multiplayer networked. Let's have a look at how that works. So here I have my treasure chest selected. And something that will be new and part of this update are these couple of settings that you see here. So the very first most important thing is this sync across scenes. This is the thing that is going to make it so you can actually have it be persistent between Photon rooms as well as Unity scenes. And when this network scene is selected, you'll see a lot of things are deselected there. A lot of these things only matter if this is selected or not. So how it does this is it actually makes use of the chat API. So if we come back here to our network manager, and I come back in here to room, something that's different is you no longer disconnect from the chat when you leave a room. You only disconnect when you disconnect from the Photon room as shown here. So that's the only place you want to disconnect now, because the chat API is the thing that we're going to be using to sync data across Photon rooms and Unity scenes. So as soon as I select this, because sync across scenes is true and I have a holder populated, it's going to send the position of the holder to everybody else and say, hey, when you enter this scene, I want you to replay the actions shown here in scene update. So whatever you put here in enter scene update, when new players enter the scene, that is going to be the thing that plays. And I misspoke there. It's actually only the master client when he enters in. And the master client, you're only the master client if you're the very first person that enters the room. When you enter the room, it's going to play. These are buffered, so it will play for every other player when they enter the scene as well. And so you can also sync when things are created or destroyed, but this is only for something that is an item, like something that you drop. So if we look at this, we'll see that sync across scenes is there. I have the holder populated, and the sync and create and destroy is populated. And now I can say when this item, when new players come in and I have said to create a new item in this scene, this is the item to create. Now in certain situations, like here, this thing is going to drop an item. And again, we have the sync across scenes here with the holder. I've specified a drop a prefab. This is the prefab I want to drop, and that corresponds to this prefab here. And then the drop point of basically where I want to drop it. And you'll see I've disabled this original object that's here because it was not multiplayer compatible. And inside here we have skip start check, is because what this does is you'll see this item here. If we open up the item collection and we go to this item collection, nothing is here, is because this gets populated at runtime. So we don't want to skip the start check. But if something is here, like in this particular case, we do want to skip the start check, because the start check is going to make sure that when this item is initialized, it's initialized with item data. And since this item, when it's dropped, it's not initialized with networked item data, it's already pre-built with item data, we can skip it. Hopefully that's not too confusing. But as part of this update, things are persistent. And the other thing that's part of this update is I've added full support for the free climb add-on. And if you happen to own that add-on, you can come down here to say enable support and enable free climb add-on support. This is a one-way action. So if you don't have the free climb add-on support, don't enable this. Simply put, it's going to uncomment a block of code. That's pretty much going to break everything for you if you don't have this add-on imported. So make sure it's imported and everything will be okay. Hopefully the wait was worth it. If you have any questions, please contact me.